This is a day for us to celebrate. This is a day for us to be excited. This is a day for us to close one chapter, but we are beginning another chapter. This has been a long journey. Many of us did not expect to experience life in the way that we've experienced it in the last 16 months or so, but you guys did it, and we are so proud of you. And I want you all to know that I believe in each and every one of you, that you have and you are built with what it takes to be successful.
Good morning, Daniel.
When I think of ATECH, I think of not just a high school, I think of it like a home. I know many times we look at school in this very binary way of, I come here to get an education. And obviously I think that is a piece of what we do here, but I think it's much more magical than that. As individuals enter into this building, it becomes almost a place of transformation.
So what happened was the old intake hose had a slit in it, so they're repairing it with a new one so we don't lose any performance of the car.
Since a kid, I always liked taking stuff apart and putting it back together. So my brother found this school for me, so I decided to go and pursue this passion.
We have the best of both worlds here. We are a career and technical education school. Of course, we have obviously an academic track, but we also have other students who decide to go to the world of work.
It's more fun, for sure, because it's hands-on and stuff. Most of my classmates I'm very close with now, so I'm happy about that.
High school is a big transition for kids, and we have a high population of Black and brown students. So coming in, our kids were never really given a voice. They go to school 6 hours, 7 hours a day. They're told what to do, they do it, they go home. And our main focus in this school is just giving kids the opportunity to speak for themselves, letting them know that their thoughts matter.
In our conversations and dialogue this past week, we've been talking about school during the pandemic, kind of reflecting on all of the changes that have happened this school year.
When you in the building, you're able to feel the energy that the teacher gives off, but on the computer, it's just like, it throws off what they're trying to do.
The community that we serve is not being served properly with the current model. It's not working, right? So how do we have our students and our teachers all grow together?
Disassembling the classroom from the traditional rows so it doesn't feel like you're almost like in jail almost. Inviting kids into a room where you can sit in a circle and have discourse is something that they may have never seen.
So I really want you to take the time to be vulnerable. I want you to take the time to appreciate this. And I want you to take the time to really just be honest, okay?
The role that CIS plays in a place like ATECH is very dynamic. I would call it as just an extra added support. It's just an extra net. So any child that might normally slip through the cracks of a school, CIS is there to catch them.
I don't know what we would do without counseling in schools because they do bridge the gap. We don't treat them as separate. They're part of us.
My mom's like, she just came out of surgery and everything, so I gotta take care of her. My pops is there too, but like, she's still going, like she did by herself right now, so she probably will be. But it's really hard, man.
Counseling is something that is taboo, especially in the Black and brown community, something that the average Black and brown person will never experience in life. So opening that up here and giving students an outlet, someone to just even speak to, is big.
What I like about counseling in schools is that they approach it from a student perspective where they have a gaming club. But while the students are playing games, we're talking about George Floyd, or we're talking about what are your thoughts after high school, or we're talking about how do you think a young man should treat a young woman. This becomes a safe place for them where they know that they are loved and cared for and supported.
The students have their own voice now. We take those views and apply them to our curriculum, and it's working out very well because the students are more focused.
All right, so now what's going on? When the students come into one of our shops, it's like a de-stressing, right? They're very open, they love being here. It's kind of how they just almost let loose and relax.
How do we not just be the building with the Black and Latinx kids that work on cars? Part of the work that I do is that I have a commitment to make sure that young men who look like me have the tools they need to be successful. Despite what's going on, or what we're able to do when we have our kids in the building with us. Remember, a lot of this also is in the context of the pandemic.
My high school career from freshman to junior was like amazing. Like it was a blast for me, and like when COVID hit, it set me back a lot. Everything is just jumbled up.
Home is for relaxing, and school is like my job. And it's like to mix school and home, it didn't work out very well.
When I'm home, there's a lot of things going on. It's just like, it's not a 100% comfortable environment. So having to be stuck inside the house for extra long now, you just have that feeling where it's just like, oh yeah, I don't want to be here right now.
School for many kids could be a safe haven. School for many kids like myself, it was my happy place. I hated being at home. And I didn't have a space to freely be myself. And I think here, kids are able to do that.
The Declaration of Independence tells you.
That freedom was kind of taken away because of what was happening in the world. And so for many students, it's been so hard.
Everybody in the school just knows me as a very socializing person. And I miss having that social skill in the school because I can't do that through online.
Being online and being behind a computer screen is very hard. In the midst of that, I lost my grandfather. And that, it took me down for a while.
I'm grateful to the point that he has people outside of his family that he can reach out to give him that extra boost, that encouragement.
When we say community, right, it's not just the building. We are so tight that people are like, oh, okay, like we'll be the place people come to visit to see how it's done.
ATECH has always been more like mother-father figures, and that just makes it so good. It makes the kids want to go to school and do good. A lot of students have turned around.
It pushed me even better to just have hope. We're gonna get through this.
I don't understand where their hope comes from. I think about myself and I'm like, I don't even know how you get through it, but I'm here for you for whatever you need. I'm so sorry, I don't mean to cry. Because I think about the ones, you know, those exceptional ones that have everything stacked up against them, but you'll never know. You'll never have the slightest clue.
It has been a very difficult year for everybody, you know, and I don't want to get emotional because it was like a hot mess, you know, but I feel like these kids are so strong because they are like going through so much, and I just don't know how they do it, you know. I just wish that we didn't have kids who didn't have food, or that,
didn't have Wi-Fi. And I wish I could do more for them because they're just kids,
School is not just a place to learn. A school is a place to be social. It's a place to get away from home. CIS gives them that outlet to come and express, to come and be as a family in a community and be supportive. If they see that we need things in the school, they'll provide it. They provided, the station for me when they saw what I was doing. And I came in one day, there was 2 stations in here. I think it's very unusual in school to have a barbershop. Barbershops are known for being places that you can speak your mind without judgment. And if it is judgment, it becomes a conversation. And so it's a safe space for you to express things that you may not normally express other places.
Yeah, it's good.
When they're here, they don't see me as an authoritative figure. They see me as, oh, this is Mr. Paul the barber who happens to be my teacher.
We want to be the change agents. When you come to ATECH, not only are you coming to school, you come into a place with love. You come into a place where your possibilities are endless. And I want to make sure they get that, especially my boys and girls of color. They need to know that you can make a difference. But it takes perseverance, it takes hard work, and it takes dedication.
They're the one who believe in all of us, even though when sometimes the cards are very stacked against us,
Especially as us being, African American kids, our backs is gonna be constantly pushed against a wall. We're gonna hit multiple bottoms, but it's like they pull us right back up. And I think that's so important to our growth as youth, because now we know, well, somebody cares. Sometimes you don't think nobody cares, they show somebody cares.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as you know, we're talking about disparities. We decided to let your peers give you an introduction to the project.
I'm gonna read this poem to you guys by Maya Angelou. As I'm reading, I want you guys to think about what this poem represents and how this poem relates to disparities. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to climb the sky. With all types of things that's been going on in the world, not only COVID, but girls ending up in trunks and black men getting killed by the cops, everything. The poetry, it taught me myself. It taught me how to express feelings for people who cannot be expressed. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Do any of y'all have any idea how that relates to disparities?
He's not free, but within his singing, he's saying that he's free no matter how you hold him down or force him to be lower than others.
My mom always told me closed mouths don't get fed, but a lot of people's mouths is closed, so I open minds for other people.
We understand there has not been equity or justice in the school system. That depending on your socioeconomic status and depending on your race, you will end up one way. And if you do not, then there's another trajectory for you. So by decolonizing education, we break that framework and we break that mold. We're going to look not at race and not at some of the intersections, but we're going to look as people, as human beings. And what we're going to do is we will teach you how to harness what is on the inside of you.
Instead of turning to the streets, you studied your worksheets. And despite all the trying times, you wrote a story. Like the free bird, you shall never be caged.
We come up with and think of non-traditional ways. We study other cultures. And we also go back and we embrace the very rich history of our student population before we were colonized, right? Our job here is to rewrite the script. It's our job here to rewrite the narrative. It's our job here to make sure that we allow the silenced voices to speak very loudly to us.
I need y'all on your feet. Let's celebrate.
If this pandemic didn't show us anything here at ATECH, it showed us how resilient our students really are. There were so many things that were ripped from them, taken from them, so many irregularities, their lives were just shifted. And that's why we see, even as we're back in the building now, this sense of, I'm back home. The pandemic will be long gone, but we'll still be making sure we are infusing hope and creating spaces for healing. That's who we are as our ATECH CIS family. That's who we are. Tomorrow's another day.